There are so many hidden costs to living in Germany that nobody warns you about. If you ignore them, they can easily cost you hundreds of euros. And this is real, frustrating, and it hits newcomers the hardest. I don't want you to go broke because of that, so let's break it down. Now, the costs start right at the very beginning when you arrive in Germany. Yes, the journey through bureaucracy isn't over. It is actually just getting started. So some of you are going to need to apply for a residence permit if you're staying longer than a few months. And this card, called Aufenthaltstitel, is your official permission to live, study or work in Germany. And surprise, surprise, it comes with a fee. For most students and workers, the cost is 100 euros, and it depends on your visa type and how long it's valid. And the renewals also cost money, usually 93 to 96 euros. And if you're applying for something like the EU Blue Card, expect to pay around 100 euros as well. But I would say this is a minor expense because we are just getting started. The next cost is the infamous Rundfunkbeitrag, and most people get really confused here. So after you register your address in Germany, the Anmeldung, a letter is going to arrive from the Beitrag service. And it looks official, but some people ignore it because they think it's spam or some optional subscription. But it's not. The Rundfunkbeitrag is the public broadcasting fee, and this is used to finance Germany's public broadcasters like ARD, ZDF and Deutschlandradio, so they can be independent from ads and government budgets, which is actually a nice thing if you think about it. And every single household in Germany is legally required to pay it. Even if you don't own a TV, radio or consume any German media, you have to pay it. And the current rate is 18.36 euros per month, and it's billed quarterly. And if you live in a shared apartment, only one person needs to pay, but you still need to declare who is paying it. Now, some people also choose to ignore this message, right? But you have to pay at some point. And in Germany, there are usually late fees on top. The good old Säumniszuschläge. This is a beautiful German word. Now, there is no point in fighting this one. It's something you have to accept, like cold winters. Now let's talk about the next hidden cost. So let's say you're employed and you notice that your salary is slightly lower than expected. It might be a good idea to check your payslip. You might be paying something called Kirchensteuer, the church tax. And this is around 8 to 9% of your income tax, and it goes directly to the Catholic or Protestant church. And very important, this depends on what box you checked during your Anmeldung, your city registration. Now here's the problem. Many internationals tick the religion box without realizing the consequences. And some do it out of habit. Others think it's just for statistics. But when you do your city registration, there's going to be an option to cross out if you're religious or not. But this box has tax implications. Of course, if you want, you can deregister from the church afterwards, but you need a separate process for this. So one more appointment, more paperwork, and in some cases a small fee. Even if you're religious, you don't have to check this box during your city registration process. So if you're not religious or you don't want to support the church financially, make sure to take care of this early. Now, one of the most powerful pieces of paper in Germany is not your passport, it's not your visa, and it's not your degree. It is your SCHUFA report. And SCHUFA is Germany's central credit scoring system, and landlords sometimes want to see it before they even consider your rental application. Now, the problem is, many newcomers don't even know what SCHUFA is. Now, to build a good SCHUFA profile, there are some things you can do. So you mainly need a clean payment history on things like bank accounts, phone or internet contracts. Paying bills on time improves the score, and missing payments, you guessed it, hurts the score. So it is basically the credit score in Germany, and please treat it like that. You can request a free basic report once per year, or you can also pay around 30 euros for an official certificate version that landlords prefer. Either way, this document matters more than most people realize, and the sooner you know about it, the better. Because if you don't maintain a good SCHUFA score, you can have problems in the future. Now, one of the biggest risks in Germany is missing official deadlines, and this can be a hidden cost. Authorities or your insurance company might send letters months after an event, and if you overlook them because you moved, didn't check your mail properly, or you didn't understand the content, the consequences can escalate quickly, and they can become very expensive. The German tax authorities, the Finanzamt, for example, is known for being strict. If they send you a letter requesting action, you are legally required to respond, even if you didn't expect to file anything. Ignoring the letter can lead to late fees, penalties, or estimated assessments where the authority decides the amount for you. Now, what makes this difficult is the language. Official letters are written only in German, and they use legal terms that sound harmless, but they're actually not. So words like Fristablauf, deadline expiration, Zahlungsaufforderung, formal payment request, and Mahnung, official reminder, they carry real legal weight. And missing these deadlines doesn't stop the process, it makes it even more expensive. So learning German improves your life a lot in Germany, and to help you out, I created a video about the best way to learn German as a beginner. Check it out after watching this video. I also put the link to it in the video description. Now, if you sign a rental contract here in Germany, it almost always means paying something called a Kaution. It is a security deposit before you even move in. And this one, you guessed it, it's not optional. By law, landlords can ask for up to 3 months of cold rent. And that's the rent without utilities. And this is your Kaution. For example, if your monthly rent is 600 euros, your deposit, your Kaution, could be 1,800 euros upfront. And this rental deposit is kept in a special account, and you get it back when you move out, but only if there is no damage and no unpaid bills. So it's basically a safety mechanism for the landlord. Now, depending on the case, you might also get the option to pay in 3 installments, but most of the landlords want to get the full amount immediately. So it's quite an amount, and make sure to budget for this, because without it, you're not gonna get the keys. Now, if you're studying in Germany, you might think that studying at university is free. And technically, yes, there's no tuition at most public universities. But every single student has to pay the Semesterbeitrag, a mandatory contribution fee that covers things like student services, administration, and sometimes a public transport ticket. And it usually ranges from 85 euros to 400 euros per semester, depending on the university and city. So you have to pay this every single semester, and if you forget to pay it on time, it means that you lose your enrollment status completely. And that affects your visa, health insurance, and everything else tied to your student status. So please set a reminder for this every single semester and don't miss this one. It happens more than you think, and then you have to argue with the university, which is not fun. Now, in Germany, going to the doctor can generally feel like it's free, but the surprise comes at the pharmacy. So for example, if your doctor gives you a prescription, you usually still have to pay part of the medicine yourself. And this is called a co-payment. And the rule is very simple. You pay 10% of the price, but at least 5 euros and at most 10 euros per medicine. And you never pay more than the medicine actually costs. So if you get 2 or 3 prescribed items, you pay this amount for each one. Now, the good news is that there's a yearly limit. In 1 year, you normally don't have to pay more than 2% of your gross household income in these co-payments. And this is obviously in extreme cases, if you get sick often. Now, if you're officially considered chronically ill, the limit can also drop to 1%. Now, this is going to sound very dramatic, but I believe it with my whole heart. Your folder can make or break your life in Germany. Having a proper folder structure can save you hundreds of euros. So physical or digital, you need a centralized, organized system for all your important documents. And that includes all these documents right here. I can recommend sheet protectors and labeling every single one. You know, German clerks absolutely love it when things are tidy and easy to verify, because one missing or one lost document can cost you a job offer, a visa renewal, or your student status. Obviously, in this whole process, learning German absolutely helps. So next, check out this video right here. Love you and stay focused.